Hello, welcome to the tutorial on plotting graphs, line graph, pie chart and bar graph. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to plot a line graph, a pie chart and a bar graph based on the dataset. Let's continue our journey of exploring the dataset. After browsing the data and calculating the descriptive statistics, next step in the process is to visualize the data using graphs. We use graphs because they help us discover the patterns and certain information in data faster. For example, if we wish to know what percentage of houses are in what condition in our data, one way is to count the number of records for each condition type, and the other is to plot a pie chart. The second is better and easier to understand. Similarly, if we want to see how the house price vary as per flat area, whether the price increases, decreases, does not change, one way is to look at these two columns side by side and try to make sense of it, or other is to simply plot a scatter plot with selling price on y-axis and area on x-axis and see if you can notice a trend. Again, the second approach is faster and easier to find the desired information. So, when plotting graphs, it is important to start with a specific question or information in mind that you want to find the answer to. We have understood why we need graphs. Let's plot some graphs based on the given dataset. For creating graphs, we need to import the Matplotlib library. You may remember that we have already installed it in the previous tutorials. We write the code for importing the library and name it as PLT, since we will be calling that library for creating different graphs, so it would be easier if we assign a short name to it. Let's start with the line graph, which is very simple. For that, we write the library name, that is PLT, then dot followed by plot and in brackets x and y values. For x value, write down the dataset name and in brackets the variable name. Similarly, we have to do a similar thing for y-axis. Here, we write only the variable for the y-axis and by default, row numbers will be selected as the x-axis. So, the code will look like plt.plot raw housing data followed by sale price in bracket. It is same as the library name.function name and input arguments format that we have seen several times already so far. We have selected the default value of row numbers for x variable and sale price as the y variable. Press Ctrl and enter and your graph is created. This graph is nothing, but as we have marked a dot representing the sale price on y-axis corresponding to the row number and joined these dots for all the records with a line. But we are not done yet. The labeling and formatting part is still left. Let's learn to color the line. For that, we write the code plt.plot raw housing data sale price, color is equal to green. Press Ctrl and enter and your line will be colored green. Next, let's begin with labeling the x-axis first. We go back to the previous code and just press enter. When we press enter, we do not execute the code, but we move to the next line only, and this is where the formatting needs to be done. We write the code plt.xlabel and in brackets the record number. And again, press enter to move to the next line. Next, we label the y-axis. For that, we write the code in the next line plt.ylabel and in brackets sale price. Now press enter to move to the next line without executing the code. Let's assign a title to the graph. For that, we write the code in the next line plt.title and in the brackets my first graph. Now press enter again to move to the next line. Now just for the final step, we have to present the graph with the details we have added in the subsequent lines. So we write the code as plt show. Now press Ctrl plus enter and execute the entire code. The graph will be displayed with the labels and the title added. You can also customize your graph by adding pattern to the lines, modify the thickness, change the markers, the color of markers, and a lot more. For example, let's consider the code plt.plot raw housing data sale price marker is equal to O, marker face color is equal to blue, marker size is equal to 5, color is equal to green, line width is equal to 5, line style is equal to dashed. Now press Ctrl plus Enter. The code will be displayed with the modified graph where we have changed the line color, style, the markers, the colors, etc. etc. There is a lot more modification that can be done to the graphs. Now this line that we have created just represented the sale price for each record. Something that we can easily see just by browsing the dataset, and as such, this line graph does not provide us with any specific insight. Let's see how we can use graphs to visualize the data in a way so that it starts answering specific questions. As we discussed just a while ago, let's say we want to find out what percent of houses are in what condition, that is good, bad, okay, etc. etc. For this, we can create a pie chart using this dataset. For building the pie chart, we must first group the data as per the category of interest. Grouping the data is nothing but finding count of records in each of the unique values of that variable, which in this case is condition of the house. So we first group the data based on condition of the house and find the count of records across the different unique values of condition of the house. For this, we will be using the group by function in Python, which groups the categorical and string values. So let's find out the count of records based on the condition of the house, and we take the count of the IDs for count of records. For that, we write raw housing data dot group by condition of the house ID dot count. Press Ctrl and Enter. And now we get the count of records based on different construction type. Now based on the output, let's define two variables named as values and labels. Press Ctrl and Enter and the variables are declared. Now let's write the code for building the pie chart. plt.pie and in brackets values, labels equal to labels. Press Ctrl and Enter and you have your pie chart ready in your output window. Now you can see the relative proportion of each construction type. Pie chart is one way to get a sense on relative proportion of data across different values of a variable. We can also use the bar graph for the same. This is very simple. The code is plt.bar and in brackets labels, values, color equal to blue. Now press Ctrl and Enter and the bar graph is created. We can customize this graph as shown here. Now we have customized the bar graph. We can see the graph title and the X and Y labels. So that's it in this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will learn to plot some more types of graphs based on the dataset. See you then.